Hello everyone and welcome back to CC Group Crypto. This is episode number 2 of Web3 Wednesdays. Super excited to get into this. There is a ton going on in crypto right now. It's blowing my mind a little bit. It's really just crazy. Bitcoin has decided to come back to life. Really the whole market has decided to come back to life. But we're really having a great run with the altcoins. If you're not in some of these altcoins right now, I feel very sorry for you because there are some major gains to be made right now with what's going on. So a couple of things we're going to cover today. GameStop, they have an NFT marketplace that is going live. Well, actually, it's in a beta, but it's going live and it is built on top of Loopring, which is really interesting. Also, another thing I'm going to talk about today, Microstrategy. Michael Saylor, our favorite Bitcoin hero, has decided to double down on his Bitcoin bet by doing a couple of things that are pretty interesting. So I'm going to get into that and also go through the charts, give you a breakdown on what exactly is happening with the price of Bitcoin and what we can probably expect next. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and let's go ahead and get started, guys.
Got Adidas in my bag, gonna check 'em. Members only, gonna check 'em. Gonna check 'em, gonna check 'em. First impressions.
Okay, and so for our first story of the day, GameStop has been working on an NFT marketplace, as many of you probably know already. They are trying to capitalize on the fan base that they've created over the years through gaming. And we all know that NFTs and gaming really can go well together as long as it's done correctly. So they are looking to expand their footprint and try to rework their business model by getting into NFTs. GameStop has had an interesting history over the past few years. You know, they really went from a place of almost going completely bankrupt and no longer existing to the whole meme stock thing and Wall Street bets and getting all of that exposure and the price of their stock running up, and that basically saved their company. And now that the company's been saved, they have some cash on hand, and now they're looking to invest into some new avenues and to expand their business. So they are looking to build this NFT marketplace. Apparently the beta has already gone live. I might check it out when I get a chance. One cool thing though about their marketplace is that they are actually integrated with Loopring or LRC. Loopring is what you call a layer 2 token. It's a platform that operates on top of Ethereum as opposed to a replacement for Ethereum. And what it does, it allows you to operate one level above it. It's a layer 2. So operate a layer 2 of this protocol, and it will allow you to actually perform and make transactions, mint NFTs, things of that nature, for a lot cheaper than what you could do if you do it directly on the Ethereum blockchain. So we all know gas fees are very high right now and have been for quite some time. So Loopring actually proposes a solution to that problem and allows you to commit these transactions for a very small fraction of the typical gas price that you would pay on Ethereum. So they've included that integration in their NFT marketplace, which is neat because that's going to allow people to mint NFTs, transfer them back and forth, things of that nature, for very cheap and very fast. So that is a big win for them. I'm also super excited about this because I was doing some charting a few weeks ago, and I noticed that Loopring was in somewhat of an accumulation phase around the 70 cents mark, and it looked like it was ready for a move. So I went ahead and I bought some, not knowing all this was going to happen. So I pretty much woke up one day, looked at the price of this thing, and it had basically doubled from where it was. So that was a nice little win for me. I didn't expect it, but that's the way it goes with crypto, right? You want to make sure you're in a position to take advantage of these things. If you never buy the coin, then you can never win when announcements and news happens like this. So make sure you always have something in your back pocket just in case it decides it wants to get a partnership with GameStop and go absolutely nuts. Okay, and so our second story for the day, Michael Saylor, our favorite Bitcoin hero, has decided to double down on his Bitcoin bet, right? So for those of you that are not aware, Michael Saylor runs a company called Microstrategy. Microstrategy is a BI, business intelligence data company, right? They sell software that lets companies take data and do work with it, right? And that is their primary business. But a few years ago, Michael Saylor made a huge bet and he actually started buying Bitcoin under the company Microstrategy. And over the years, it's been very controversial, but over the years, they've accumulated a lot of Bitcoin, like a lot, like $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, tons and tons of Bitcoin. They're also a publicly traded company, so they are, they have the largest holdings of any public company when it comes to Bitcoin. Tesla also has quite a bit of Bitcoin, but MicroStrategy has the most. And so what they've been doing is they've been going and raising funds from investors, making these Bitcoin purchases and adding it to their balance sheet, right? Which is crazy because they actually went, if you can actually go out and look at this, it's because they're a public company. They actually made more money off of buying Bitcoin than their actual business made, right? From selling their software. So their actual like business intelligence business made less than their Bitcoin investment. So that just tells you how crazy this whole thing really is, right? So anyway, what they have done to double down on this, if you will, is they have actually borrowed money using their Bitcoin as collateral to buy more Bitcoin, right? So let me break this down if this doesn't quite make so much sense to some of you. So whenever you take a loan, there are basically two types of loans, right? There's secured and unsecured, right? An unsecured loan is like a credit card where when you borrow money, there is nothing that they can take to recoup their money in the case that you don't pay them back, right? It's not like you're saying, hey, you're giving me $1,000 on a credit card. So if I don't pay this $1,000 back, you could have my car in place of it, right? It doesn't work that way. That's unsecured. Unsecured loan or secured loans and secured debt is where you borrow money, but you put up something as collateral, right? So let's say that you take out a car loan. Well, if you don't pay your car back, we all know what happens there. It gets repossessed, right? And they repossess that car in order to recoup their funds, right? That they've given and borrowed and lend to you and you've borrowed in order to try to make back the money that you're no longer paying, right? This is what rich people do. When rich people want money, right? They go and they say, hey, bank, I've got, 1,000 shares of Tesla worth X amount of dollars. How about I let you hold on to this and you give me a loan for, $5 million or whatever the case. And so they're able to borrow money using their assets. And when you borrow money using your assets, that money that you earned isn't taxable. It doesn't count as income, right? So it's tax-free income. So anyway, I said all this to say what MicroStrategy is doing is they're putting their Bitcoin up as collateral and saying, hey, here's, 10,000 Bitcoin. I want you to give me a loan, right? If I don't pay this loan back, the Bitcoin is yours. And I'm going to take that loan and I'm going to buy more Bitcoin, right? And the beautiful thing about this is as long as Bitcoin's price keeps going up, they can continue to use Bitcoin as collateral. And they can continue to take loans against it to buy more Bitcoin indefinitely, forever, as long as it keeps going up. And so I think this was really Michael Saylor's end game with this, was to basically be in a position where he had enough Bitcoin holdings to start borrowing against it to keep buying more. And so now we'll probably keep just borrowing against it and continue to buy more as long as the market supports this move. So, it's very, very smart thing to do. Don't get me wrong. It's also very risky in the case that, this whole company's, their assets are almost all tied up in Bitcoin. So it is a big gamble, but, I can't be mad at the man. If he really believes in Bitcoin the way that he says, he's definitely showing it. He's not just saying it. And so it's very interesting to see how some of these things are playing out over time. I wish him the best of luck with it. I wish all of us the best of luck with Bitcoin. Obviously, if you're watching this, you probably have some. And, it's good for you and me and him if it keeps going up. So let's hope that it keeps doing that. Just kind of a crazy thing. They went out and they brought against it and got more. So let's go ahead and move on over to our market analysis. This is really the star of the show today, with Bitcoin's price movement, Ethereum as well, and all these other altcoins. So let's go ahead, take a look, and see what's going on. All right, let's take a look at the current state of the market. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, the big story today is really the fact that the market has exploded recently. As you can see here, last week's episode, we were flirting right around this $42,000 mark. as of now, we have blown past the $47,000 mark. And as you can see, I told you guys that these red lines mean something. As you can see, it just so happens that it's resting right above a red line that I happen to have here. This is an important price level, really an important price range in this level here that we really took, no time to break right through and land right on top here and get nice and cushy and comfortable. So this is actually a good thing that Bitcoin has found support at these levels. What we need to see though is we need to see continuation higher into these levels. And so what I want to say is what you want to really pay attention to over the next few days, maybe even the next week or so, is how Bitcoin behaves once it starts to reach this 40,000 and then into this 42 to $43,000 range. This is going to be a big deal. This range right here has some pretty heavy resistance, and it's very likely that if we do manage to get in here, we could get knocked back down. The big thing though is that we want to make sure that we keep moving up. The longer that we hang out here at this level, the more likely we have a chance to head back down. Okay, so we want to be able to hold this, but once we confirm support, which it looks like we're doing, we want to go ahead and make sure that we make the next move up. We don't want to hang out here way too long. And once we get to that next move, when we get into this range, we really want to see a breakthrough here. If we don't see a breakthrough here, that means we're going back down. And like I said before in the first episode, typically with Bitcoin cycles, right, we lose 80% of our value, which we determined was around $13,000, $14,000, somewhere in that range. Usually we lose 80% of our value, and then we make our move back up on the next bull cycle, next bull run. This is interesting because depending on how it behaves here, we could potentially see another bull run, if you will. The conditions of the market in the world right now are really kind of a catalyst of a perfect storm for Bitcoin to really take off and really show the world why it exists in the real true value that it has to offer the world. And so I'll never discount the possibility that we could see another run. I would love to see another run, of course. That would be great for me. It'd be great for you. But we'll see, because historically that is not how things played out. But like I noted before, there is a large amount of institutional money at play now. And that money at play makes a big difference in this market. Another thing that I want to point out to you guys that is something that is important to note. Here on the S&P 500, which is stocks. Yes, this is not a stocks channel, but there is a heavy correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin. Again, because of that institutional money, right? The guys with the big bank accounts, they trade everything. They don't trade just crypto. And so now that they're here in crypto world along with us, the moves they make here affect the moves of the Bitcoin, the price movement. So they are correlated, and there is some pretty good correlation between the two. At this point, they really consider Bitcoin to be another risk asset, just like stocks. And so this is really interesting, because what we have here is we have the S&P 500 broken above. Again, see my red line here. My red lines mean something. You can see here it came above the red line, came back, touched it, and now we are sitting above it. So this is a big deal. The S&P 500 has regained a very, very important level. And what this means is that we're pretty much seeing the stock market make a true recovery from all of the chaos that's been happening since really January. So we're seeing that this is a big deal. And if the stock market is going to start bouncing back and continue to make its way up, I see no reason why Bitcoin will not do the same. And if Bitcoin is going to do that, then we're also going to see that same type of movement reflect in the altcoin market, which we've already seen, right? If we take a look at Ethereum here, boy, I just left my red lines here. So my red line here is indicating that we've broke through and are holding at a very important resistance support level. So this is good to see. We have Ethereum above 3,400. This is looking really good for Ethereum. As a matter of fact, with Ethereum, based on what we're seeing here, if we can reclaim this $3,600 level, which is an area where historically we've had some support and some resistance, we could see Ethereum break another high again. It's very, very likely, a run up to 5,000 or so. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. Really interesting what's happened here. Nice breakouts across the board. You can see here some of the coins that I'm following. Just green. A whole bunch of green means a whole bunch of money. So people are happy right now with the way things are going. Hopefully things continue to go that way, but you always got to be prepared. The market can turn on you at any moment. It doesn't care how much money you have in it. It will take your money. It will take your home. It will take the shoes off of your feet, right? It does not care. It's going to do what it wants to do. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think Bitcoin can reclaim the 50,000 space, and if we're looking at a potential triple top cycle, if you will, where we're going to get another all-time high within somewhat the same cycle. That would be pretty crazy, but anything can happen. So let me know if you guys think that's possible. Let me know what you think about Ethereum as well. Do you think Ethereum's going to go and break another all-time high and finally break through the magic 5,000 barrier? I don't know. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys' support. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that fun stuff. Please help me out as much as possible. It doesn't take much of your time at all to just click a button, right? And if you subscribe, I don't even care if you watch my every video, right? Just click the button anyway, right? If you see something and it's not interesting, just skip it. But you help me out by subscribing. So please, I would ask that you would do me that favor. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, I am out of here. I'll see you next week for episode 3. Peace. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I greatly appreciate your support. Quickly, here, before you click out of this, I just want to say one thing. Please make sure, if you haven't already, click below in the description. There is a link to my website that will allow you to get a free copy of my ebook, A Beginner's Guide, 5 Mistakes to Avoid When Entering the Crypto Market. Guys, this ebook is absolutely amazing. It's completely free. And what it's going to do is going to take the knowledge that I gathered when I first entered and made mistakes, and it's going to transfer it to you in an easy to read and easy to understand format. It's going to allow you to enter the market and avoid the mistakes that I made when I entered the market, right? I want everyone who's on this channel, everyone who's watching, I want you all to have the opportunity to be successful from the start. And so this book is my way of saying thank you for supporting me, is my way of transferring knowledge to you and allowing you to come into this game with a full understanding of the mistakes that you want to avoid. So please make sure you click down below in the description, get your free copy. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.